Yeah, I love it. So we probably could start recording.
Yeah, let's do this.
So this is Sarah Tamborelli, but she's more widely known as Sarah Little Drum, lead singer of a few bands, You're the Dog and Uma Fuzz. And am I missing anything? Well, you do solo stuff, Backyard Revival, a bunch. And Sarah's been a vocal coach at camp for several years and is just amazing. She puts on one of the best shows I've seen and dances and is really like not afraid on stage. If she was afraid, you'd never know it. But let's start with Sarah. She's got some questions, some icebreakers, and everybody say thank you to Sarah for making this week's video. Woo! Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much for that awesome introduction. Hello, everyone, and welcome. As we said, my name's Sarah, and yeah, singing is what I love to do, and I like to have a lot of fun on stage. So I just wanted to get to know the people in the room a little bit who are doing the singing as a focus during this process. And I just had a couple questions what most excites you about singing and what's your biggest fear and your concern. So that way we can make sure to address those because those are different for everyone. So you can think about that, what is your favorite part about singing? What's, kind of scariest for you, let's say. And then I also wanted to know if you had a favorite singer or a favorite band or something. So maybe do we have time? We can kind of go around, anyone who's taking it. You can just kind of maybe start with Duke. Is that how I say it? Is that?
It's Duke, and I think you're still muted, Duke.
Thank you. Yes, please. Yes, correct me. Still can't hear you. Oh, 1 second.
Okay, 1 minute. So if someone else has Mars, how about you?
Yeah, Mars.
Can you hear me? Hi. Hi, Sarah. Trying to remember the questions. What excites me most about playing is when I have a song and I feel it and I feel that emotion coming out, that's what makes me really feel happy. So there's that. I guess what scares me the most is that my voice isn't as I hear it in my head, and maybe other people hear it. But nevertheless, I love singing. And favorite singers, just while I was thinking about it, who was I thinking about? People in my vocal range, or one person would be Paul Simon. I really love his voice a lot. Sinead O'Connor, definitely.
Awesome.
I like Bob Dylan a lot. So I don't know. There's so many out there. So
yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. I think that to answer the concept about not hearing your voice out loud like you do in your head. So this is a really interesting phenomenon because we are hearing from the inside of our head in one direction and also from the outside. And so there is kind of a weird process of understanding your voice as it is in your head and how it is out loud. And I recommend the more you practice recording your voice and getting used to it and playing around with it, the more comfortable you'll get with listening to your voice, because I totally thought my voice was a lot deeper. In my head, I sound like I talk deeper, but when I hear it in recordings, it sounds high. So I really recommend just making yourself listen to that as much as you can. And that's awesome. Does anyone else want to share next? Thanks, Mars.
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, dude.
Sorry, I just got a new mixing board and I've got cable routing on the brain, so I don't understand it all yet. But
you rock.
I'm a bass player. So I'm doing the vocal thing so I can help do backups. And I've never sung before. So it's totally makes me feel vulnerable and scared and whatnot. So I'm not really sure of what my voice is, where it is in the mix and that sort of thing, or if I'm even going to be useful to my band, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Well, you definitely are going to be useful because you're playing the bass and singing at the same time, which is pretty awesome. I've been trying to beg my my bassist / boyfriend to start singing backups. And yeah, we'll definitely play around with the range of your voice and find something that is comfortable for you, because you can make quite a difference even if you're just doing the same note the whole time, like a drone. Like, you don't have to do fancy Mariah Carey stuff to really add to the energy and the tone of the song. So that's really cool. And that's really exciting that you've never done it before. And then I guess, do you have any favorite singers or bands or whatnot?
Last session, I mentioned Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. I think is an amazing performer and vocalist technically. As far as favorite bands, I like old punk rock, like Jawbox and Jawbreaker, and old Green Day, and pop punk, hardcore stuff, metal.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you like that grit in the voice, playing with that. So that would be a cool thing for you to try, like singing some like full mellow kind of just I guess not gritty stuff, but also maybe in this process, maybe try experimenting with that, because that would be sounds really cool for you. Great. Awesome. Does anybody else want to go next?
We can always call on you.
I know, I see. Is this Kaya and Tiana? You two were looking at each other, so I'm like, okay. Nice to meet you.
Hello. Tiana, do you want to go? Okay. Can you restate the question?
Yeah. So what is your favorite part about singing? Like, what most excites you about doing it? And what is the scariest part? And also, if you have any favorite singers.
I think the scariest part might be accidentally getting the wrong notes, or maybe forgetting your words.
Mm-hmm.
Most exciting, I'm not sure. Just like the feel of just projecting your voice and being able to speak out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really have any favorite singers, so what do you want to say? Okay, she doesn't have anything.
Awesome. Yeah, hitting the wrong notes and forgetting the words. Thank you for your awesome share, by the way. It does happen, and I gotta be honest, it can be kind of traumatizing and embarrassing if you let it, or you can just not care and just realize that you're human and it's okay. And I had this one time where I forgot the words to the national anthem in front of like hundreds of people when I was 18 and like very, very insecure. And it was traumatic. And I looked to my mom, she was in the bleachers, and I was on like the verse, and I was like, what are the words? And I literally like said it into the microphone, but then the whole crowd started singing along with me, and it ended up being one of the most memorable, beautiful moments ever. And like, I was embarrassed, but like nobody cared, you know what I mean? Like, they're just like, oh, you forgot the words. And so I would experiment with this, because when we perform, sometimes we do mess up, and when we're playing in bands and stuff, we are going to mess up in the process. And learning how to have a sense of humor about it and not take it personally is critical and crucial for the success, because the fun is what keeps it light, and that's what keeps you inspired. And so what I would recommend is, yeah, anytime you mess up or you feel like you mess up, practice smiling or laughing when you do it, and just take a deep breath and then just like continue on, because that's a very valuable skill as any bandmate, and this goes for all instruments and everything like that. Just trying to stay like unemotional about it and just focus on the song is good. Everybody else can feel that energy. And then if you do mess up, yeah, just try to just, keep going. Yeah. You have one, Tiana? Or are you just waving?
Good.
The most exciting thing about singing is that it makes you feel happy.
Yes. I love that. I agree. No matter how sad I am, if I can like sing a song, especially if I'm singing with other people, like I can't help but smile. And it is a really beautiful thing. I love that. Thank you. All right. Who wants to go next?
It's Kashmira.
Well, I don't really feel very scared when singing. Like, sure, everyone messes up, but if you're like a robot, it's like, it's creepy. Okay.
Yeah.
But so I do have a few favorite singers though. I like Shawn Mendes, Katy Perry, and that type of stuff. So
Awesome. I love that. I love Katy Perry. She's really awesome. And yeah, I like pop music a lot. I like Talia was saying in the songwriting workshop, like the structure of pop songs. There is something really nice about having that familiar kind of structure, and like so that you can sing along with it because it's fun. I love music. I can sing along too. And yeah, what's your favorite part about singing?
just singing.
I love that. You're like, it's just singing. It's great on its own. And I agree. All right. Is that Belin?
I think she's at work. Give us a thumbs up, right? Or can you talk? She's at work, so she's just listening.
Okay, awesome. Okay. All right. Okay. So what else were we going to talk about? I feel like we had another question, Talia, first.
I think it's just if anyone had any questions about this week's video. Yeah.
All right, Mars.
Yeah, so in the workshop or in the video that you did, I know you talked about putting your head up high and really like breathing from in here. But when I play, because I'm playing guitar, I have to look down. So I just, like, am wondering how I can look down and still hold my body up and sing with my voice. So that's my one question. And we can talk about that later, like maybe you and I communicate, but that's like one of the questions. And also harmonizing with someone else. Because there's someone in the band who we're thinking of harmonizing with. So how we can kind of figure that one out as well.
Awesome. Very good questions. And yes, it is true. Like singing in the video, I mentioned very briefly and not a lot of technical stuff, but the power of the power and the purity of the tone. Imagine like a pipe, like your voice is the air, and then like the pipe has the water. If the pipe gets like clogged or there's a bend in it and the flow of the water is not constant or it gets cut off, the water stops. So it's the same thing with the breath. And to be a good singer, I just think it's very important to like stay conscious of that. So play around. We can even do it now if you're able to, like where you are. You can just like sing and just sing the same note in different places. And then also, so you can probably notice it sounds better or worse, but the thing is that most of the time when you're in your middle, like your most comfortable part of your range, you can actually get away with singing in any weird direction because it's like your best range. But this is what I find. When I have to hit the really high notes or the really low notes, that's when the diaphragmatic breathing and then the right posture is extra important. So as far as the sound, it's really important. You want to pretend like you have a string. If you're sitting down, pretend like you have a string coming from the top of your head. And you have this good posture. You roll your shoulders back. You let them fall. You take a deep breath and you feel grounded with even weight on both sides. And you practice, puffing out your stomach like I did in the thing, or you're like, so that's really important. So the breath, actually, most people actually breathe wrong most of the time, and they'll be moving different parts of their bodies. So it's important to keep your shoulders down and just kind of be aware of that. And I promise you that the deeper breaths, even if you feel like you can't squeeze any more air into your stomach, even if it's a low note or a high note, you need lots of air, and just take a huge breath, and that will give you a more constant tone. Also, a side note, it's really interesting. The sounds of the vowels actually change how easy or difficult it is to sing a word. So this is something when you're recording yourself, like singing, that you want to listen for or practice with. Sometimes if you're singing like a lee, like lee or lo, it changes where it's sitting in your mouth. It's really interesting. And if it's a loo, and that's because the shape of your mouth is changing. And so there's all these different places. There's so many different instruments in one with your voice. It starts with your breath and your stance, and then it comes out through your throat, having the right shape. But then at the very end, you also, the very last step, right before it's launched out into the world, projected out into the universe, it goes through your lips. And so it's important to be aware of pronunciation, and it's important to play around with that, because sometimes you'll be like, why can't I sing this part good? And for whatever reason, and I still find this today to me, I'll be singing something that sounds really easy, and for whatever reason, this one word in the song, like I can't hit it, even though the range. And sometimes it's because of the vowel sound of it. So just like a fun fact. And then Mars, what I would say, going back to your advice, with the guitar, what you can do, I mean, you can try to bring your guitar up more is what I would recommend, because I know it looks a little ridiculous, but I like to have my guitar really high. It's back in the style of the 50s or whatnot. And you can try having your guitar higher, so that way you can look up, because I could look down here and play, or I could look up here, and this one's better. So trying to keep that overall a little bit higher. Also, you could try getting a smaller size guitar. You could try sitting down and singing, can help, especially for certain songs. I like performing standing up because it gives you more energy, so you can run around. I find that I get more nervous when I try to sit still. Like when I used to play little ukulele shows, I would get really nervous. And so I find when I can walk around, I can like loosen up. And I would play around with the mic stand. So there's different ways you can set that up, and we're gonna look at that today as well. And I forget where the other question. Oh, harmonies. Does anybody here ever sing harmonies along with the radio or whatnot? No, yeah, nice. So harmonies, as most of you may or may not know, it's the other notes that are different. It's not the exact note that you hear, but it's a note that complements it. And so it's in a certain key or a range. And there's actually really easy ways to figure out some notes that if you have like a little ukulele or even just an app on your phone that has like a tuning app, you can actually find the chords. So I made this little like cheat sheet to teach me the different chords. I just bought one of these flashcard things and I wrote what chord it was, A major. And then on the back, I wrote the notes, which I use this to learn like different instruments, the chords, but also with singing, there's a couple different arrangements that sound extra good, which is usually like the third and the fifth harmony. If you ever heard of that pop band Fifth Harmony, well, it's because the quote unquote fifth harmony, which is a certain distance, music is all about relationship. The fifth is a relationship to the first, depending on where it starts. And certain harmonies usually tend to sound better, so you can start there. So it will be really simple to find out by what note the person is singing that you want to harmonize with, and then maybe try a third or a fifth, and then we can talk about that more. But that's like in the chord shapes and stuff, I think. I don't even know. Does that make sense, Talia? Hillary?
It makes sense to me totally, but that's because I get it. But I think what you could do is if you have a piano, because a lot of you have pianos in your bands too, is you use the piano to find it. So if you look up like Mars, say your song is in E minor, you could look up the notes of E minor and then play them on the piano. And so your first person is going to be down here. Then you would think, okay, well, let's find that other note here. And what's the other note? Here, here. And it's basically just finding it, because sometimes you do have to sit and play it on your instrument first to know where you want to sing. But sometimes harmonies you're singing the same melody. You're singing the same exact notes. All three of you would sing the same thing. So it just kind of depends on your style. But yeah, I love how you're teaching this, Sarah. It's great. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think that's a good point, what Talia said. For beginners and for a lot of you newbies who are just getting into this, a great way to learn singing and to learn singing harmonies like with people is to sing the same note. And especially when we have people that have deeper or higher voices based on age or whatever, you can do what's called like an octave. So you're singing the same note, but it's in two different octaves. And so one will be a whole step on the instrument, like a whole 7 notes higher. And that's a really good way, yeah, to sing along and to learn harmonies.
I'm going to pop in for a second because I have some comments to say, because harmonies are awesome. And it makes me think about some of my favorite bands, and I love singing. I like to just sing along. You know, I sing with my mom and my daughter, and so singing is just fun. It feels good. But like Brandi Carlile and the Twins, you know, her backup singers, like seeing them perform live, their one song, The Eye, is that the name of the song, where it's just like the three of them singing together with those harmonies? That is so cool. Maybe we could watch it while we're in here, I don't know. And then Lucius, you know, the band Lucius, where they sing together instead of doing like a backup thing, their voices are stronger together. So those are my comments on harmonies, because it's so cool how you can do backup or sing it all together, and it's different and powerful, right? So thank you.
And another cool backup thing to look up is a lot of Motown music. If you look up any of the old Motown songs, they always have really cool backups too. But we can put a little, like we said, some YouTube videos up for people to watch at some point. But yeah, or the girl groups that Eugenie had taught us about, the Vandellas, and I can't remember who else she played, but
Supremes.
yeah,
The
Supremes, exactly. You know, so if you think, stop in the name of love, right? So listen to music and you'll start noticing backup vocals. And instead of singing along to the actual lead vocal, start singing along to the backup vocals if you want to learn backups, because that's the best way.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, and also with that, with counting along with the music. So this is really important. Or were we saving that for another week? Or we can do that whenever. Did everybody start singing the camp song? Has everybody learned the camp song? I don't know. I apologize that I wasn't in last week's session, but if we didn't already take a turn playing open mic, it would be fun to have maybe a few volunteers who want to sing the song and demonstrate counting in and counting along, because very nice. I see some counting over here. BCJC in your face. Yeah, so counting along is really important. And rhythm, just because you're not the drummer or the bassist doesn't mean that your rhythm's not important. Your voice is both rhythm and melody at the same time, all of the time. So it is important to start learning how to count in time and learn what tempo is and what notes are. And yeah, it would be cool to have us sing along to the camp song, if anybody wants to volunteer, or I can do it even too, if you want me to go first.
You could go first and demonstrate, and then we'll hopefully a couple more people will be brave and try.
All right. I wonder if I'm gonna remember the words or if I need to look them up. I remember them.
We're here to rock. We came to roll, making some noise, taking control.
Okay. Yay. Okay, I lost you guys now. I slid my screen around. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. I'll be right back. There I am. Okay. Cool. Okay. So I would probably stand up and be like this. So we'd probably be standing on stage and the drummer would click us in, hopefully, or I guess the singer could. So I'll do it. So the tempo of the song is kind of like this, right? Dun, 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 dun. So you kind of like follow your head or your body. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the drummer would probably click in like that. So I'll clap in and I'll sing it. So ready? Everybody, you can clap along with me if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're here to rock. We came to roll. We're here to rock. Losing control. I forgot the words already. Oh my gosh. Wait,
do the chorus. We build each other up.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. We build each other up, not tear each other down. We build each other up, not tear each other down. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so to do the chorus again, there was a couple of breaks in between the lines where I wasn't singing, and those are important to remember. So it's like, we're here to rock, 1, 2. We're here to roll, 1, 2. Taking So yeah, yeah. So just listen for the rests and the beats in between the words. And I apologize. I can't believe I forgot the words. The rock camp theme song.
No apologies at Rock Camp. You rock.
I rock. Anyway,
But what I liked is how you put your own spin on it at the end there. How you did your little run, and like I love that. So how we do the Rock Camp song, you can do it that way. But I like people trying it their own way.
Cool.
It looks like someone pulled up the Rock Camp song for us.
Hey.
We could all practice singing muted if we want to play this, and then we can have someone else try doing an open mic and being brave, doing an a cappella.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do
Rat,
that.
I'm gonna play it from my computer. You guys can all see it okay, right?
Yep.
I'll play it and everyone can just sing along muted.
It's muting.
It's a noise, taking control. We build each other up.
We build each other up, not tear each other down. We came here to get loud, showing up strong and proud, saying yup to the status quo. Here we are putting on a show. We build each other up, not tear each other down. We build each other up, not tear each other down. Roll call. Do your rock star poses. We are rock. Build each other up, not tear each other down. We build each other up, not tear each other down. Hey you, yeah you, you're amazing. It's true. I don't see you singing. Yeah you, you're amazing. It's true. We build each other up, not tear each other down. Sing it with me. We build each other up, not tear each other down. Power pose.
Awesome. That was awesome.
Do we have anybody that wants to try a cappella and try doing some power poses while you sing too? Anyone be brave?
That'd be awesome.
I'll give you a virtual high five. Mars,
Yeah.
you want to try it? Sing a couple lines. You don't even have to do much. You could do the chorus. You could do 2 lines of the verse, whatever you feel comfortable. Anybody. If you're scared,
Can I air guitar? I'm gonna air guitar, right? Is that cool?
Yeah, that works.
It helps. The guitar helps. All right. I won't strum it. All right.
Yay. Everybody, round of applause for Mars being brave and going first.
I'm gonna do open chords just to start it. I think. All right. See how I look down? And I need to hold it up higher. We came here to get wild, showing up strong and proud, saying yup to the status quo. Here we are putting on a show. We build each other up, not tear each other down. We build each other up, not tear each other down.
Yeah, woo!
I'm still learning my voice. but-
Wow. Wow, that was amazing. You have really, really good pitch. Like
Yeah?
you were on all the right notes in the pitch like the whole
Yeah.
time a cappella. That's hard. You literally did better than me with pitch because I like changed my key and everything.
I don't believe it. Okay, I'm
Oh
going.
yeah, it was great.
I agree.
That was awesome. Anybody else want to try?
I just want to remind everyone that this week is Empowerment Week too. And so we're so proud of Mars for being brave. That's awesome. That's all. Like we do build each other up. That was so rad. I feel like crying. That was so cool.
Yeah. Duke, how about you? I'm curious to hear your voice.
Like I said, I'm not sure where it is yet.
All right. All right. Well, your
Well,
homework.
let's try. Let's find it. Let's find
Well-
it. If you don't mind trying in front of people.
It's not that I mind in front of people. It's just this is like 1 week in. You know, like give me a couple weeks and then I have no problem with it.
Totally.
Let's try something real quick. Can
Okay.
you go, ooh,
Ooh,
ooh?
ooh.
So you obviously have an ear and you obviously can hear it and replicate what you're hearing, right?
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
just would be a good way to start, is like just sing along, like Sarah said, sing along to things. And yeah, the good way to find your range, you're playing bass, right?
Yeah.
Start at your low bass note and see if you can match it. And then just move up fret by fret and see if you can match your voice to the note. And then when your voice breaks, you'll feel where it breaks. You'll know where your range is. You'll know that this is your strongest part is down here on the bass, or maybe it might even be higher. You sound like you could have a higher vocal range, which could be
it's like
really cool.
there's a break in the middle. I can go high or low, but there's a definite break in the, you know.
That's awesome. So just keep working that and work that break over and over. And that's the best way to like smooth out the break, is just to keep practicing it. Like don't push it, but keep practicing it.
I love that. That's really good advice. Playing along with the instrument is a great way to learn, to learn where your range is, and also like to understand music, because you'll start to make the connections and see the patterns between the singing and the playing. All right. Well, no worries. I totally understand. And I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. And I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. And does anybody else want to share real quick? And if not, that's okay. But Erin, you want to go?
Well, I just have another question. I have sung the rock camp song a lot, but you guys were talking about your voice breaking, and Lori Michelle talked about that in her lesson as well. And so is it okay to just ask about that? Like how, because sometimes I sing louder than I should, obviously, especially when I'm alone. I'm just like, go for it, and then I'm like, and I cough, and it's like, ow, that hurt. So what should I do to not do that? Because that's probably not the right way to sing, but that's what I love to do.
Yeah, the voice is really interesting. It is a physical breathing instrument. So you know how you see people who do splits and stuff. So they obviously have to stretch. So the voice is a muscle. So it is important to remember that if it feels weak, or it feels like it's breaking, or it's getting tired easy, it might just be not buffed up enough, and you got to kind of do your throat bicep crunches. I used to get so scared that I would sing more and more and more, and I would lose my voice. I thought that I would sing too much and then sing my voice away. But as long as you're not, there are ways to tell after you sing. It shouldn't be super scratchy and painful. It can get a little bit tired, but as long as you're aware of it, actually singing a lot more, you'll find, will actually strengthen your voice. So you'll be able to sing higher and lower without even trying, just because you've strengthened those muscles. So just saying that as a word for encouragement, because if you never start singing, your voice is never going to have its chance to build those muscles and to be able to have that strength. So definitely try to sing and do vocal exercises every day by yourself. Push yourself, even if your voice feels a little tired or doesn't sound good that day, because it is a muscle that you can actually build up over time. And as far as the breaking with the range, so here's what I've found, at least for me, I haven't perfected my voice to perfectly have the exact tone everywhere in my range as I sing, but that's okay. And so the trick is just to understand, to start to feel if you can't hit that note, to try to sing it a different way and things like that. The song, play around with your voice and start to find, I guess it's it's kind of letting go of the perfectionism and just being okay with just seeing your voice unfold, because it will surprise you. And there's things that you don't even know yet that your voice can do. And it might sound weird and it might not feel right, but there is a place for all of it. And I would say, just when you're singing songs, don't try to sound exactly like whatever. You can try to sound like that singer, and it's fun to do that, but don't expect it to sound like them, and try to just make it your own and accept that. And the more that you own that, the more the audience is going to connect with you, because you're a storyteller as a singer. It's a storytelling, and that you're the song teller or whatever, as Dolly Parton says. So just try to think about singing that way, because if you're really like speaking the words and singing the words with your mind and your heart, people will get that message across. And as far as getting that range better, I just recommend vocal exercises, and just pushing your voice. You know, it does get a little bit tired, but it will strengthen. Yelling is not good for your voice, side note. So yeah, just talk about vocal health a little bit. Go ahead, Mars.
Well, I was just thinking about Dooku was talking about liking punk rock, and that's when your voice is gonna go, here we are putting on a show, you know. So you're saying not to yell or do that, but there has to be a way to do that, right? That's not, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know like where you want to go with your voice, Duke, but I think that like I would love to be able to go down there, but I can't quite. But just finding that spot that's like, I would love to do that, like personally, but that just made me cough. But you know what I mean? Like going down low instead of going up high. You know what I mean?
Best way to do that is just keep practicing it, Mars. Just keep practicing down where you want to be. But what you just did sounded great. And that's called a vocal effect, right? You put grit or a vocal fry, like Sarah was talking about in the video.
Yeah,
and we'll do it. So take it back a little bit so it doesn't hurt your throat. Do just a little bit, right? And you weren't shouting. So she was talking about when you yell, like, you know, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to hurt my voice. But there's ways to project your voice without yelling, right? There's ways to push it so it goes, but you're not yelling. But yeah, don't do it so it hurts, but practice. Like Sarah was saying, your vocal, it's a muscle you have to practice. The more you do it, the easier it is.
Yes, everything that Talia just said, yes. What I meant was yelling like at people, or like yelling because you're not thinking of the singing, so you're not giving yourself the correct breath. I love grit, and I actually do use that, and I do screams and stuff in my music, not necessarily like a scream or whatever, but like using that effect. And what I find is there's certain ranges where that doesn't hurt your voice, where I could scream that note or that word. So definitely in moderation, and definitely experiment with it. Yeah.
And that's what it is, just making it your own, experimentation and seeing what works and what doesn't, and having fun. So we're almost out of time. Does anyone else have a question for Sarah? Or we'll just leave this open. Anyone have a question? We're seeing some head shakes. No, that's all right. You know, I think we learned a lot. We covered a lot. Sarah, can you just talk really quick about microphone placement? Because we haven't talked about that, and then we can say goodbye. But microphone placement is super important, because your mic is how we're going to hear you on your video. It's going to be how you are how we hear you over the drums and everything. And if you put your microphone off to the side, or if it's not right in front of your face, you won't be able to hear yourself. So Sarah's going to show us. She's setting up a mic stand right now.
What the? Okay. All right, you can still hear me. Okay. Yes, this is a mic stand. These gosh forsaken things that I love so much. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of different ones, but basically there's different levers on them, and they adjust to all different levels. So you tighten them. So that's like the base. And you want to be careful, not to tug on them unless they're loosened. And then you open it up like that. Nope, this way. And woo, this mic stand is so weird. There we go. Okay. So obviously you don't want it on your forehead, because that's not where your mouth is. and you don't want it down here. So you want it just about where you'll be singing, and definitely account for your instruments or whatever you're doing. Because sometimes when I walk up to it, that's not actually how I sing. So I try to feel it out and give it some space forward. And then you tighten it up. And let's see. Nice and good. And then this part up here, this is like the mic clip. So we're going to put the microphone on that. And most microphones are a little bit different, so they will sound different, and that's why you have sound checks. But it is important to like sing up closer to the microphone and have your mouth, like some microphones you can even sing right on them if you have your own personal COVID safe microphone. I don't like to share microphones for that reason, even in normal days. But yeah, so you want to have it just right about out your mouth. And then sometimes you can step back a little bit, but usually for a live performance mic, you're going to be basically here. So you can do things to stay close to the mic, like put your hand on the mic stand, or, you know, keep your nose on it or something like that. But yeah, and that's like what you do. And you have a cable that goes into your microphone that looks slightly different than an instrument cable. So just real quick, this is an instrument cable. And then it has this bendy side here. So that's also called a 1/4 inch or an instrument cable. You're going to be really cool that you know this, by the way, you youngins in here. I didn't know this until I was 25 or something. 1/4 inch. And then this one is your microphone cable. This is called an XLR, and it has 2 different ends here. And you can think of XLR because it XLR, like 3. And then that goes into your microphone. And it only works one way, so you won't be able to do it the other way. And you don't have your cables all messed up. Yeah, here you go. And then if you want to get really cool and rock star and you're about to scream and you don't have a guitar in your hands, like I like to do, then you take it off the stand and go like this. Wow. Yep. And yeah, I think that's about it. When you're just be careful whenever playing with sound devices that you start soft first, just very gentle, because sometimes it's your system is turned up or whatnot, and you don't want your ears to get damaged. So definitely be careful whenever you're mic checking. Don't be mean to everybody around you and scream right at first. Like wait until it's dialed in, like talk into it first. Say something like, hello. I don't know.
Yeah, this is all great stuff. Thank you, Sarah. I think because a lot of these people have PAs at their house for the first time, right? And you're practicing with a microphone for the first time. Aaron asked how to clean it. Aaron, the best way is if you can take the top off and clean it with soap and water and then air it out. One other way you can do it, you can just spray Lysol on it, or you can put a Lysol wipe and clean it. But Sarah's showing you can unscrew the top of most microphones. I actually have to clean mine a lot. You know, if you play a lot of shows and you sing a lot, you want to keep those nice and clean. Thank you so much, Sarah. I wrote in the comments your 3 bands, and she's in more. You can follow her online on Instagram and Facebook, and their music is on iTunes and Spotify. So thank you so much again, Sarah, and everybody make some noise for Sarah's awesome lesson tonight. Woo!
Thank you. You all rock.
I look forward. Thank you.
Yeah. And do you have any final words of wisdom for us? Something to send us home with?
I would just say, do yourself a favor and right as soon as we get off here, play a song that you love and sing along as loud as you can and have fun. And I look forward to seeing your songs come together.
Awesome. Great advice. We'll see you guys next week. Your vocal lesson for this upcoming week will be live Wednesday night at 7 p.m. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Sarah. See ya.
Fun. Bye.